Hey y'all, it's me, Shea Butter Love, popping in on this beautiful, beautiful day. I hadn't done a video in a while, so we are well overdue. I want to say welcome to my channel if you're new. If you are subscribed and been subscribed, thank you for returning. And I haven't dropped a video since the last video I posted, so I was inspired today and I said, you know what? It is time to talk about change. That's the topic for today. So if you are new to my channel, go ahead and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified when I go live. Go ahead and hit the like button if you like the video at the end. And please share the video if you feel like it could be beneficial for somebody that you may know. I also want to say that my videos as of now are being recorded and they are not being edited. I just kind of like free flow it. I'm very intuitive in how I move, and I like to move based on pure inspiration and just natural, ability. I don't like to overthink what it is I'm doing. So let's get into it. So this ties into the love, change, love, all of these things, upgrading, right? So I want to get straight into what it is that we're going to be talking about today. It is so important to be okay with the process of change. I want to say that I think that I've seen the most change take place in my life in easily probably like the last 8 years. I've really seen a lot of change take place. And the lesson that I receive from these last years of change taking place is that most change is for the better. A lot of the change that we avoid is literally due to fear, and the fear that we give to things, we can always change our perspective and go within our own selves and our own mind and look to the benefit of having a new presentation of life in our face, whether it is a job that you're losing, letting go, or moving on from. You choose to see the positive perspective of that change or not. But we do have a lot more power when we are placed in a position to see change from a positive perspective. This does not dismiss the fact that in this life, some of the change that we are met with will present certain levels of pain, because we are not exempt from pain. And it is up to you to take that information, so to speak, that emotion, and to flip it into something that can be utilized to upgrade your life or benefit yourself in a wisdom. All information can be utilized for one thing or another. It's really up to you to do what you choose to do with that. Sometimes we are presented with change when it is time for us to grow, and we are not allowing that to take place due to fear. A lot of times people that do not pursue change without having to be forced into it, or that kind of like reject it, are people that are afraid. They're afraid of the outcome. They're afraid of the reality that comes with that. They don't want to shift. They don't want to be uncomfortable. And all change that you're presented with is going to present some level of discomfort. It's just literally inevitable. But if you are in a place within yourself to where you can look at it and say, you know what, this discomfort is temporary for what it is I'm going to reap later. If your intentions and your work ethic and your motives are pure, and you have a plan, or you are just moving on from something, because sometimes it's not always about having a plan. Sometimes change is presented with no plan, and then you have to get prepared and you have to get ready. And it's not always simple, but it's always doable. It's just up to you to determine what your position is going to be within that circumstance. So some of the things that you can do to assist yourself when you're presented with change in your life, whether it's due to something ending or beginning or both, because endings and beginnings are literally one and the same. It's just literally a circle, one side of a circle meeting another side of a circle to form this. one of the things you could for sure do is just be honest with yourself and how you feel within that process. A lot of people try to dismiss the reality of whatever their changes they're presented with by dismissing that discomfort or the emotion attached. Sometimes when you're moving, there will be levels of fear. There will be levels of anxiety. There will be sometimes even emotional distress. Okay. And what it is you're doing when this is taking place is you're finding ways to comfort yourself, and you are allowing yourself to process what is taking place by trusting that process, understanding that all things take place for a reason. What you're not going to do, even in the event that you've done something dumb, right? A lot of times when people make mistakes per se, like say for instance, I'm going to give an example. You are in a situation in which you're in a relationship that has posed some form of abuse. We know that abuse comes in many different fashions and forms, but let's say for instance you're in a relationship 3-4 years and you're being abused, let's say financially. Let's say you were being abused emotionally, you were being abused mentally. And then you one day have something click in your head and you're like, you know what, I deserve better than this. I'm not doing this anymore, and you exit. You know what I'm saying? Like this is like a divine intervention from the universe. Like you gotta go. The way that you are going to allow yourself to upgrade your life and you're going to allow yourself to grow from that situation is by not blaming yourself. You can have accountability for whatever actions took place that you were delusional or that you were weak or that you were vulnerable without blaming yourself. Okay? Because when you start to blame yourself and you shift it to that energy turns into shame a lot of time. And that's the reason why you have so many people that are living through different situations and ashamed of this and ashamed of that. And you know who carries and deals with shame? You. Whatever person did whatever they did to you, they moved on with their life. And so don't get caught up in being in a position of shame. And I'm only giving the example of abuse because I know that's pretty common. Don't get caught up in that. Don't get caught up in that at all. You need to be accountable, because accountability is important. So like whatever it is that you did or whatever it is your role was, your job is to make sure you don't be in that position again. Okay? And the lesson for you is that you learn from anything that took place that you are not proud of, or that does not make you feel like it was worth it. Sometimes things end because staying in that same motion and same place is keeping you mentally stagnant. Sometimes your life has to move forward so that you can be pushed forward, so that you can receive a different type of stimulation mentally. And another thing that you can do to benefit yourself when you are processing change or you're in a position of change and you don't really know what you want to do, or you don't know how you want to feel, and you don't know what's going on, and it's a lot for you, right? Another thing that you can do is you can vent about it. And if you don't trust people to verbally speak, right, and you can vent by writing. Write it down. Go back to it and read it in 2 years. And you're going to think about one of two things. What the hell was going on in my head? Or I'm glad I'm not there anymore. If you read it and you still feel the exact same, then that's what we are considering to be something that is a little bit more detrimental, where you may need some type of intervention from a therapist or something of that nature, right? So being able to look at life's changes from a positive perspective, from a optimistic perspective, allows you the ability to benefit from anything you go through. I look at my life from a perspective that any circumstance, person, place, thing that I've experienced has posed me nothing but wisdom. Excuse me. I got tongue-tied for a minute. I have been posed with nothing but wisdom from all of that. There is nothing that I've ever experienced that can be used against me. There is nothing that I've ever experienced that has any power over me. Not even the worst things that have happened in my life. Some of those things I was so young having to process, and it built such thick skin and such amazing character within me. Another thing that you can do for yourself when you process and change, especially if it's like something in which you didn't come out on top, because some change, we have to really look at it for what it is. You went into something, whether it's a job or whether it's a relationship, friendship, and maybe you wasted your time, right? Maybe you wasted your time, or maybe you thought you were going to get more from the experience than what it is you got. You got something. Now, it's up to you to be honest with yourself and to say, hey, this is what happened and this is what I could pull from it. There has been not one thing in my life that I have experienced that I have not gained something from that is benefiting me at this very moment. Information is very profitable. Knowledge is power, and information holds power. And when you are in a position of change, that you don't understand why it had to be you. It's because of your perspective. It's your perspective. So allow yourself to trust the process, communicate, whether that's through venting or writing. Allow yourself to utilize any information or knowledge gained from a situation. I don't care how detrimental. It could have been that you was getting your ass whooped. Okay? It could have been that you was getting financially abused. You learn something from that situation to do what? Make sure it doesn't happen to you again, and to pass the information on to other people. Every single thing that you experience, it's up to you to capitalize from that. Okay? Y'all hear those birds? They co-signing me. Thank you. Thank you. Because they know it's the truth. Everything is a sign, a gesture. And another thing too, when you are in a process of change within your life and you are upgrading your life and you're moving on, because I'm hoping that's what this change is being presented with. The best thing you could do is be in a sober mind state. When you upgrading and elevating, you have to upgrade and elevate. That means you're eating, you're sleeping, you're working out, the people you around. Sometimes when you changing, you got to leave people behind because they don't fit into the narrative you're creating for your life. Some people are so afraid of just letting things and people go. And I understand why, especially when the emotion and the attachment is very strong. But you got to look at the reasons why, and you got to look at every connection very closely, because you will get to a point in your life where you like any decision made, any move made, it has to make sense. It has to make sense. And sometimes things have to change for you to dive deeper into your own love and your own, plans, because you are caught up with something else that you shouldn't even be caught up with mentally. Sometimes it ain't even, you ain't physically there, it's just mentally. It's good to change things. Change your eating habits, change your surroundings, change the places you go, change the way you dress, change your shit. And watch your life begin to flourish in so many different ways. Watch yourself begin to evolve, and the way that you feel toward yourself begin to evolve in so many different ways. Watch yourself become who it is you want to come when you change your perspective on change. Instead of being like, I'm afraid, I'm scared, and I don't know what to do. We can't gain nothing from having that perspective. And you can utilize this for whatever it is that's changed. Let me tell you something. For 8 years, I've been seeing people come and go from my life like this. People I've been good to. People that I have loved so deeply. I've had to let go of so many people that they don't mean me well. They don't love the way I love. And what I've gained from that is beautiful. All I'm going to say is that. What I've gained from that is beautiful. It's not only shown in A physical is shown in my aura, the way people receive me when I'm out, how I feel. My spirit is different. If you don't allow change to take place, you cannot change. It's just like you just got on one hamster wheel and you was cool with that hamster wheel getting off. You didn't want to get out and get off and go venture and go see what somebody else hamster wheel looking like, or, do some cartwheels before you get back on it. So I'm not going to keep this video super long. I did want to pop in and I wanted to do content today because I was in an amazing space and it's beautiful outside. One of my favorite type of days, an overcast day. And I just wanted to inspire somebody and let somebody know, first and foremost, be okay with moving on, changing. I don't care if you've been on your job for however long you've been on your job. If you know you deserve better, begin to take those steps for better. Begin to educate yourself. Be okay with being a student until you get it. Okay? Be okay with learning. Be okay with growing. Growth and learning and knowledge and information and movement and, not being stagnant it's a flex. Being able to do that. A lot of people that you look at, that you admire, they just stuck, stagnant, and they in situations that it ain't gonna go nowhere else besides where it's going. And you have to look to those with eyes that are, do you want that for yourself? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why would you want that for yourself? So be cool with it. Moving on, moving forward, higher love of self, a higher level of elevation of the mind, the body, and the soul. And watch how your life grows when you really begin to want that for yourself. Just watch. But I'm getting ready to go. I want to finish my walk and finish doing the stairs. And I want to say peace. Hit the notification bell. Hit the like button. Hit the share button. If you know somebody needed that. With love always. Shea Butter Love.